Let me start with a quick story. Recently, I saw a person that I know post on Instagram from a concert that they were at. It was this world-famous artist. The weather was perfect. It was one of those like once-in-a-lifetime moments, right? You could see like the concert, but mostly of what I saw was just a bunch of iPhones everywhere. They were watching it through their phones instead of actually seeing it. It's like our first instinct has become to reach for our phones. Whether it's a concert or if we spot a beautiful animal in the wild, is it a habit? Is it because we want to capture every moment? Or is it because we want to show others what we're experiencing? We've all become these third-person observers of our own lives, constantly documenting everything. Today I want to talk about what it truly means to be present in the moment, and why we might be losing touch with those experiences through living through a lens. And sure, taking photos and videos, it can help us remember events. But in the process, are we fully valuing the present moment? In this day and age, we're living in like the past, the present, and the future all at once. No wonder why we're so stressed. If I don't document this experience, did I really live it? Am I gonna remember it? Does an experience gain more value when we capture it on camera? At the concert, you could have easily grabbed a photo from the event organizer that has like professional photos from the concert. But I guess it's something about taking your own picture, showing people and showing yourself and having that as a memory that like, this was from my perspective, this was as I saw it. This is my memory. But is it because we want others to see what it is that we see, or because we want to remember what we saw from which perspective? Is it about showing the world, this is my POV, I experienced this? Almost like we're adding it to our personal aesthetic. Are we capturing moments for ourselves, or are we trying to validate our moments through, for example, social media? And actually, let's talk about social media. I think it's a big aspect of this. I think social media has created this pressure to live an aesthetic life. We're starting to prioritize how things look rather than how they feel. We post experiences to show off, I guess, to get that quick hit of validation. And in the process, we might even lose sight of what the experience actually means to us personally. We're curating moments not to live them fully, but to prove to others that we lived them. And I think that's where FOMO can come into play. Another perspective of FOMO. We share our lives online, not necessarily because we want to remember. We don't want to feel like others are missing out on what we did. But in doing so, aren't we losing something? The authenticity of the experience itself. Is a cool experience more valuable? Was it worth doing even more? Would I have been able to pay even more money for it if others knew that I experienced it? The moment you lift your phone, you become less of a participant and more of an observer. You break your connection to the present moment. Think about it. Once the camera is between you and the experience, you're no longer in the moment, you're framing it and thinking about how it's going to be perceived. For a moment, even though it might just be for a moment, you're pulling yourself out of that actual moment that you're trying to capture. Now, I love looking back at old photos and videos. I have an entire wall filled with photos and memories, and I love it. Especially those meaningful moments that I really want to savor and remember and gain energy from looking at. I won't stop pulling myself out of the moment. Like, hey, I want to capture it. But I've learned that when I do this, I want to be intentional about it. I want to capture these moments for me a little bit more and not have it from the perspective of someone else as much. Even though it's hard because, like, of course, I'm just a girl. I want to take cute photos for Instagram, like, come on. Let me share another personal story. I remember being at this concert for like, I don't know how many years ago. I think it was like 6 years ago. And there was a point when I stopped recording and I just took everything in because I was recording. I was like, okay, let's use all my senses. I felt the cool air on my face. I felt the warmth of the crowd around me because it was kind of a cold night, but because everyone was standing so tightly, I could remember like how it was kind of sweaty almost. The blast of the speakers, the colors on stage, how the voice of the singer sounded, and the smell of fresh air under the dark blue sky. That's what made that memory stick. I don't even think I have a video of that concert when I remember. My memory from that concert, it's not specific because I took a video from it. It's because I used all my sensory to remember it, which I needed to be fully present to be able to do. And there's also something interesting about how our brains work when it comes to memory. When we rely on technology to remember for us, like snapping a picture or recording a video, our brains doesn't recall the memory as deeply. Essentially, when you outsource your memory to a camera, you're weakening your brain's ability to form deep and lasting memories. Now, this doesn't mean that we should stop taking pictures altogether, but I do think that it's a reminder that maybe we want to use technology a little bit more wisely. We live in an era of incredible tools, but maybe we want to think about a little bit more of when do I want to document and when do I just want to be? And when I document, how do I want to go about that? We are actually the first generation to kind of navigate this new way of life, this new era. Even though we get that instant gratification from social media, I think we should try to recall what it is that actually matters to us. And also not always go with our instinct of documenting everything. So the next time that you have an incredible experience, whether it's a concert, a sunset, a really nice dinner with your friends, please take a picture. But after that, try to let the phone go. I don't think that we're gonna stop taking pictures. I love taking pictures. Even though you do that, try to make the experience itself the priority. The majority of the time, the central focus should be on the experience itself. Engage all your senses. What do you smell? How do you feel physically? What do you hear? What do you see? Take a moment to be in the moment. Because I feel like the more we focus on capturing life, the more it seems to escape us. The more we curate, the less we create. Life is probably not meant to be lived through a lens. I think it's meant to be felt and to be experienced. So the next time that you reach for your phone, try to pause, be present with your senses, feel the moment, because that's what you will remember the most. You can't capture that with a camera. Maybe that's the beauty of it as well. That is for you and for you only. I wish you an amazing Sunday, an amazing week ahead, and I can't wait to get back here next Sunday.